All right, today we're talking about something huge happening in the accounting world. We're going to dive into how some of the smartest firms out there are using offshore support, not just to cut costs, but to work smarter, grow way faster, and really leave their competition in the dust. So let's get into how exactly they're pulling this off. So if you run an accounting firm, I've got a question for you. Feeling the squeeze? Yeah, I bet that hits pretty close to home for a lot of you. And look, you are definitely not alone. The pressures on firms these days, they're real. And honestly, it feels like they're just getting more intense every single year. I mean, think about it. You've got the insane workload spikes during tax season, the endless, frustrating search for good talent here in the US, plus everything just costs more. And on top of all that, clients want things done yesterday. If this sounds familiar, it's because this isn't just a bad year. These are deep structural shifts in our profession. And let's be honest, the old ways of doing things, they just don't work anymore. So what's the answer? What's the new way forward? Well, it's all about building a smarter, much more flexible support system. One that can actually handle all these challenges without, completely draining your bank account or, more importantly, burning out your incredible team. Okay, so when we throw around the term offshore support, what are we actually talking about? Let's keep it simple. It's about taking specific, repetitive, process-heavy tasks and handing them off to qualified pros in another country who work as a part of your team. And let me be super clear here. This is not about replacing anyone. It's about adding firepower, adding capacity, and expertise right where you need it the most. And that right there brings us to the biggest myth, the biggest misunderstanding about offshoring. So many people think it's about replacing your staff, that you're just going to lose control, but the reality, it's the complete opposite. You're not losing anything, you're gaining a remote back office department, a team that follows your rules, uses your software, and plugs right into your existing workflows. Think of it as a powerful extension of the team you already have. Okay, that all sounds good in theory, right? But where does the rubber meet the road? Where does this model actually deliver real, tangible value? Let's dive into the 4 key areas where firms are getting the biggest wins with this approach. First on the list, inventory reconciliation and management. Now, if your firm works with any e-commerce, retail, or manufacturing clients, you know the pain. You know exactly how tedious and time-consuming this stuff is. It's just a classic example of a high-volume, pretty straightforward task that eats up so much valuable time. And the payoff for outsourcing this, it's huge. I mean, you're not just getting things done faster or reducing manual errors. You're not just getting cleaner books and speeding up that month-end close. The real win here is freeing up your senior people. Suddenly, they're not bogged down in the weeds. They can actually shift from just crunching numbers to doing the high-value advisory work that your clients will pay top dollar for. All right, area number 2. This is one that every single accounting firm out there can relate to. We're talking about the absolute mountain of paperwork that comes with tax documentation. It's just one of the most brutal, labor-intensive parts of the job, right? But imagine this. What if you had a dedicated team handling all that grunt work efficiently? The benefits are almost immediate. That frantic, last-minute scramble for documents, poof, it's gone. And now, your best tax pros can stop chasing paper and start focusing on what they do best, high-level strategy and building those critical client relationships. But, let's talk about the bottom line. Let's talk numbers for a second, because this is about more than just efficiency. When you set this up the right way, firms are seeing a 40 to 60% reduction in operational costs for these kinds of roles. I mean, think about that. That is a massive, significant impact right where it counts. This leads us perfectly into our third area, and this is where the model really evolves. We're moving beyond just outsourcing a few tasks here and there. Now we're talking about bringing on dedicated, full-time offshore team members, people who are 100% integrated into your firm's culture and workflow. This approach is absolutely perfect for those roles that need consistent, ongoing support, things like bookkeeping, tax prep, you name it. What's so great is that you get the incredible cost benefits of the offshore model, but you also get the continuity and the deep knowledge of someone who feels just like an in-house team member. And finally, area number 4. This one really shows just how far this whole concept has come. It's not just about boring compliance work anymore. Smart firms are now using their offshore teams for much higher value services, like doing the critical research and prep work for strategic tax planning. And let me tell you, this is a total game changer. It lets you seriously expand your advisory services without completely swamping your senior partners. You can deliver more proactive advice, handle more complex planning, and just massively improve client satisfaction, especially when things get crazy during busy season. Okay, I got it. It's totally normal to have some questions or reservations about all this. A lot of firm owners hesitate at first, and they have some really common and totally valid concerns. So you know what? Let's tackle the 3 biggest ones head on right now. The number one fear we always hear is about quality. Will the accuracy drop? Am I going to lose oversight? And that's a fair question. But here's the reality. When you partner with trained professionals and you have a solid internal review process, which you should have anyway, most firms actually report that accuracy stays the same or even gets better. Why? Because now you have an extra set of eyes on everything. All right, concern number 2 is a big one: data security. Is my data safe? Look, in today's world, security isn't about geography, it's about process and technology. Any reputable partner you work with will have rock-solid security protocols. We're talking secure VPNs, SOC compliance, encryption, the whole 9 yards. Your data is often more secure with them than in a typical small office. And the third big worry: communication. Will the time zones be a nightmare? How will we even collaborate? Honestly, with the tools we have today, Slack, Microsoft Teams, all the cloud platforms, collaboration is pretty seamless. The secret is just having a structured communication plan and working with partners who operate with some overlap in your time zone. After the first couple of weeks, it pretty much becomes a non-issue. Okay, so we've talked through the biggest concerns. The next logical question is, how do I actually do this? How do I make it work? The key here is not to bite off more than you can chew. You want to start strategically and build your new hybrid firm one step at a time. And there's actually a proven 5-step recipe for getting this right. First, you start small. Pick a few process-heavy, repeatable tasks. That's your low-risk starting point. Step 2, you document everything. Clear SOPs are your best friend. Third, and this is critical, you assign someone on your team to be the internal reviewer. That keeps quality high. Fourth, you get your tech stack right to make communication a breeze. And then step 5, after you've proven the concept, that's when you gradually scale up. See? It makes the whole thing feel way more manageable. And this brings us to a really important point about where the accounting industry is right now. The conversation is no longer about if this model works. It does. The firms that got in early are already reaping the rewards. We're talking higher profits and happier staff. The real question for everyone else is, how quickly can my firm get this implemented effectively? So let's wrap this up. The big takeaway here is that strategic offshore support is way more than just a trick to save a few bucks. It's a true competitive advantage. It's what allows you to scale, to focus on what really matters. It's how you build a firm that's not just efficient, but resilient and truly ready for the future. So I'll leave you with this one final thought. Is your firm ready?